warding away the Phoenixes. One of the SCVs is killed, but then the other one finishes the bunkers, and it looks like Socke trying to figure out a way to get around these bunkers. These bunkers aren't actually filled. If he actually moved in, he although that Phoenix does go down, so that might scare him just a little bit as to what's going on. Meanwhile, there is a drop going down for BratOK, so I mean, there's Socke's base is knocking on his front door, but he's still trying to get a drop in and trying to regain some of that, trying to take back some of that economic advantage that Socke has. Socke, meanwhile, is going to be moving in through the back, trying to avoid these bunkers and move down. So a small force of units coming here, Stim running in and just blasting away at Socke's back door. Meanwhile, Socke is doing the same thing on his side, coming into the backside, and both players just kind of trading it away. Will BratOK be able to take out this Nexus right now? It looks like he might be able to. A few units are being morphed in for Socke at this point, and back at the base, it looks like BratOK is holding things off decently well, though I don't know, he does probably have to lift out this command center. Nexus stays intact, unfortunately, for BratOK, and BratOK now forced to retreat at this point. Is able to hold off a few more here, lifting off his command center at this point, and going to be reinforcing with just a bunch of Marines, mostly Marines and medics. So a lot of micro necessary for BratOK, and Socke not just going to be giving up this position at all, deciding that he doesn't want to really engage at this point. Might be caught off guard between the Marines here and the bunkers here, and slowly going to be skirting away on the outsides and making his retreat. So Socke possibly fearful of some sort of retaliation, but it looks like in that exchange, BratOK was able to, unfortunately, even things out. And looking at the Harvester count, wow, 40 over 28, so BratOK has re-established himself right now. And even at the army count as well, BratOK able to just constantly pump out more units. And although he did have his natural temporarily stopped, he didn't lose any SCVs in that battle, so it's pretty even right now. So great job for BratOK for evening things out, and a very well-timed and well-placed drop on the backside. Socke right now not even mining gas right from this assimilator, and just purely mining gas from his main. Doesn't even have an assimilator back down because it was exploded by the Marines, although he does have better map control at this point, throwing down a pylon right here, so we'll be able to detect if BratOK is going to try to take another expansion to the north. And BratOK is throwing down a third command center at this point, just bulking up in units both sides. Looks like Socke is going to be moving out right now, and Ghost Academy is down for BratOK, so Ghost will be coming out pretty soon. So going to make his forces that much stronger and that much better to deal with the High Templars, as well as just EMPing everything in sight. +2 going down already for BratOK, and looking at the units, already 1-1 for him. Looking at Socke, no upgrades yet at all for him on his side, so this might give BratOK that advantage that he needs to really kind of push ahead in this game. Things kind of evening out right now. Harvester count evening out, as well as it looks like Socke has been chrono boosting from both sides, trying to reestablish his economy, and I think that he really wants to reestablish that. Also waiting for it looks like he has Colossus out on the field as well, waiting for the thermal lance timing before he re-engages on BratOK's army. This is going to be very difficult, I think, for BratOK, who very high level play to stick with Marines and Ghosts. Doesn't even have any Marauders out. Has a ton of Ghosts out on the field, actually. 6 Ghosts and 27 Marines and 6 Medevacs. I mean, most players would not be able to hold off. Trying to do another stim run again, but unfortunately, the timing of it a little bit off, just getting caught completely off guard. Socke's army is revealed at this point, so I think BratOK going to be able to react accordingly, and this just takes an incredible amount of micro to hold off. I mean, like normally you'd say a Marine and Medic versus a Colossus, a ton of High Templars. You wouldn't really expect anything, but it looks like this Pylon and this Naga Watchtower are providing a ton of sight for Socke at this point, although the unit is gone from there, but allowing him to kind of scout out and see what the Ghosts are doing before they have a chance to really run in an EMP. It looks like BratOK has already had an SCV there and going to take out this Pylon as well. Looking at the army tab on both sides, BratOK is, Socke is actually pulling ahead a little bit at this point, just kind of massing his army up now that he has firmly reestablished his economy right now, and BratOK trying to move down here, but unfortunately a whole bunch of Zealots are here to kind of prevent anything from going on and stop any sort of mining going there. I think a bunch of Harvesters lost for BratOK during that transfer, so just wasn't, potentially was keeping his eye somewhere else on the map. And so now the harvester count in favor of Socke yet again. Oh, I'm sorry, this pylon was down here to summon in and going down at this point. So able to do a bunch of damage to the SCVs, morphing in, it looks like a planetary fortress on this one, because this one is just going to be that much harder to hold. Another transfer going down for BratOK, but BratOK definitely needs to try to get more SCVs back out onto the map. Mined out of his main completely, as is Socke at this point. Socke now going to be establishing on his side as well. So both players kind of have a sense that they're, you know, the more risky expansions are now vulnerable. BratOK not going to be getting the planetary fortress here to try to hold it down as best as possible. A very large army now moving in for Socke, who has pulled ahead 129 to 110 and has a very good mix of units to handle the MM and G of BratOK. Will BratOK be able to throw down a few EMPs in time? That will be crucial to him. One EMP going down, 2 EMPs going down, and he really needs to EMP those Templars to basically remove any sort of side storm as much as possible. Trying to run his units around and using the repair. A side storm is going down on the SCVs who are trying to repair. A big side storm going down on the Ghost, and the Ghost just suffer a big deal right there. Not being able to engage it, yet using the side storm to kind of hold things back and trying to use the thermal lance to outrange his opponent. A few of the zealots a little bit zealous there and charging in ahead. So in that encounter, unfortunately, I think BratOK was able to even things out, but now Socke now just going to move in straight ahead in the front. Mr. Turret's going to be able to do a decent job, and BratOK does have Vikings in the air right now. Everything getting fried on the ground. Ghost not able to get off that EMP in time. There come down the EMP from behind, and now BratOK able to clean things up on the backside and actually pulling out a bit ahead. So the dual surround right there, doing a great job. Look at how many Ghosts are out on the field for BratOK. EMP and a few snipes going down there as well, I think, or maybe not. I'm not entirely sure if he had time to micro all that, but now it looks like, wait, things have changed. Things are changing constantly between the two players, and it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 gates going down here. Finally getting research going down and chrono boosting that Colossus. So in that exchange, I might have read those numbers wrong. It looks like Socke is still ahead, 103 to 72. Looking at the income tab, wow, BratOK's income severely crippled at this point, down to just 21 harvesters and mining, and not mining very much. The side storm just doing a ton of damage to him. Really needs to retaliate at this point. Stim running into here and just trying to take down as much as he possibly can. Can he take down this Nexus? Yes, it's almost done, and the Nexus does fall. So right now, Socke only able to mine from his natural, and units here trying to reinforce, trying to plow away and try to reestablish that, even out that harvester count. So a hit and run from BratOK at this point. BratOK really needs to try to take out these towers. And what is going down on the backside? A drop going down for BratOK, not entirely successful. I think was able to take out something here, probably a pylon at this point. Really should take down this pylon too. Yes, so kind of not alert Socke to what is occurring right now. So both players, a big remote mine going on for Socke at this point, although he still has a significant number more harvesters, 61 over 25. BratOK, I think, desperately trying to get his harvester count back up and running, using his mules as best as he can, but knows that he is behind. Meanwhile, Socke already going to be taking his 4th base and his 3rd expansion right now, so just plowing on ahead. Void Rays are coming out for him as well, and it looks like BratOK finally adding some Marauders to his mix to counter the Colossus in the air, as well as the massive amount of, or I guess, ground units on the ground as well. So this next is going to be morphing in. No more remote mining happening on that side, and the Void Rays are just kind of hanging out here. Whether or not BratOK will see that will be pretty interesting on that side as well. Looking at the army tab, though, it looks like Socke is still ahead. A bunch of those are actually harvesters. 35 of them are harvesters, so army count pretty even at this point, in terms of ground forces against each other. And BratOK, I think, slowly catching up in the harvesters, but Terran players, unlike Protoss or Zerg, have a very hard time catching up in harvester count once they are behind. EMP going down, so this this Templar is going to be pretty much useless at this point. Needs to get out of there before some massive damage occurs to him. And now Void Rays are moving in the back. BratOK did see that and was hit by those Void Rays, so now can react accordingly to them. These Void Rays, unfortunately for Socke, were picked off a little bit beforehand, so not going to be able to do as much damage as he wanted. Might be charging up on this. Nope, just going to run right by it. And missile turret already going down for BratOK on this end. Keeping an eye on the mini-map. A bunch of more gateways going down for Socke at this point. And with the mules, BratOK is able to catch up just a little bit in terms of minerals, although his gas is still significantly behind. And Socke even going to be coming in with the War Prison at this point to reinforce. Here comes that missile turret firing away, and the SCVs have to pull off for a little bit while BratOK brings the rest of the forces to reinforce right now. Stim running in